All this land in sacredness, earth and sky, sea and stone. All this land in sacredness. Hey malama ika heau, hey malama ika heau. Hey malama pono ika heau, hey malama ika heau, hey malama ika heau, hey malama pono ika heau, dolphin, whale, Uno and snail. All this sea in sacredness, dolphin, whale, all new snail, all this land in sacredness. Hey malama eka heau, hey malama eka heau. Hey malama pono ika heau, hey malama ika heau, hey malama ika heau, hey malama pono ika heau, hey malama ika heau, hey malama ika heau. Hey malama pono ika heau, hey.
Okay, this is my first time having a mic on my head. Aloha, good morning. Welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. And those in Cyberland, welcome. Happy Mother's Day. To thank Mother Sophia, Gaia, Tara, all of our mothers and our ancestors. And we're going to start off with our Reading a Science Mind by Barca. So what we're going to do is close our eyes and put both of our feet firmly on the floor and relax. Take a deep breath. And after our reading, we'll go into a silent meditation. Then I'll read the chimes and bring us back. Barca?
So today, before you look, bring it over. I can probably talk loud enough.
You use this mic?
Well, can everyone, they can't hear me online.
Well, yeah, it just got turned off by mistake. Okay. All right, so today's reading is a Choose Your Own Adventure. And I should have brought some reading glasses, but I'll try and do this. I said to the sun, "Tell me about the Big Bang." And the sun said, "It hurts to become," by Andrew Gibson. And the second quote is, "There is no end to divine nature, and therefore it mean possibility to expressing it," by Ernest Holmes. No one wants to know the future more than me. I mean, I have backup photos for my backup photos. I was reminded of this recently as I explored my new neighborhood's walking paths. I rolled up to the park, all juiced up with the excitement of exploration, until I realized the trails were not all that obvious, and the multiple directions it took there induced a mild panic. This experience brought to mind those times in my life when we have all been called to step out onto a trail outside of our realm of both our comfort and our experience. Despite our discomfort, this call is to step out of playing the small and into playing the big. While we may find ourselves literally and figuratively holding on to our breath, a little drop of faith and experience, and provide us with a sprint out of our boxes we've created for ourselves. All we have to do is will a little and take one more step outside. The task can seem insurmountable as we expect to pulverize the boxes of our old beliefs and patterns as we're accustomed to. But this may need a little more breathing room and willingness to stick our head out to see what's outside. Once we do this, we can become accustomed to step out with intention. Before we know it, the box is no longer big enough to encompass all that is possible. And here's our affirmation. Today, I create a little space to move beyond what it has been and step out to what is possible.
We'll read it together. Read it together.
Okay. Today, I create
Right.
a little
Little
space
I create a little space
to move beyond what has been
to
And-
move
and step into what is possible.
and step into what is possible. Thank you. Yeah.
Should you turn it off?
Thank you, Barca. That really resonated with me because this is my first time facilitating today, and it's my first time talking in front of more than 5 people. So thank you for being here this morning. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go into our silent meditation. And I invite you to sit up straight, put your feet down on the ground if that feels good to you. And we'll just take in the sounds around us, and then I'll bring us back with the ringing of the chimes. Welcome back. So right now is a great time to introduce Dan, our musician, and have a time for song. And Genevieve.
I'm just background.
In the chilly hours and minutes of uncertainty, I want to be. I won't hold and mine. To feel you all around me and to take your hand along the sand. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown veils the sky, I want to hide a while behind your smile. And everywhere I look, your eyes I find. For me to love you now would be the greatest thing, would make me sing. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When rain has hung the leaves with tears, I want you near to kill my fears, to help me to leave all my blues behind. For standing in your heart is where I want to be, and I long to be. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind.
Okay. Our welcoming or good morning message. So, welcome to our New Thought Spirit community. We welcome people of all faiths and traditions, and here we celebrate the oneness of spirit that transcends any differences in belief. My name is Jamie, and I'll be your facilitator this morning. And we have Genevieve Brunet doing our presentation on the Atlas and beyond and insights into our beautiful cranial sacral system. And she's got a question for us today. And I think if we can, she's got a lot of information to share with you. If we can do it in one word? Okay.
Well, one word would be yes or no, and then one word. So if you tune into your body, oh, sorry. Hello? Yes.
There she is.
So if you tune into your body, like, do you feel a connection between the upper part of your spine and the lower part of your spine? So that would be the yes or the no. And if yes, one word to what you feel of this connection, to describe this connection, what you feel.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Yes. So yes, I do feel the connection and especially tingling from top to bottom.
I do feel a connection, and I always hope it's not pain.
Yes, and vibration.
Hi, my name is Joe. Yes, and it's kind of electric.
Mm.
My name is Lynn, and yes, strength.
Yes, and I was thinking earth or stability. Similar.
Casey. Good morning. My name is Reagan, and I would say not all the time, but sometimes, and flow, solid. Yeah.
I'm Charlie. Yes, I feel the connection, and I enjoy the Kundalini serpent.
I am Vivek. I do feel the connection. Not sure what to tell in the, like, what do I feel? I'm not sure, but I do feel the connection. Yeah.
Yes, I had a beautiful releasing massage yesterday that connected my lower body to my upper body. So it was amazing. Feels alive.
I'm Stephen.
Yes, definitely feel a whole lot of tingling going on.
I'm Sally. Yes, I feel a connection and it feels very solid.
Barca and 18 inches. I don't know.
18 inches.
I'm Candy. Interesting question because no, I didn't feel connection. So unawareness.
Hello, my name's Skip. Yes, flowing.
Hi, I'm Sherry, and yes, and aligned.
Hi, my name is Dan, and I didn't hear the question. So, that would have to be tingly.
And I'm Genevieve Keola, and definitely yes. And even more with all your reverberations of all your connections. And spacious groundedness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I'd like to also acknowledge any new guests, if we have any new guests here today. A new thought. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Happy Mother's Day with your mom. All right, and then I think we're ready for another song.
And actually, the next song, we wanted to honor the sacred Mother Earth inside of us, which is our body, and this song is about honoring the sacred. Take one and pass it on. And we can all sing together, that's why we do it.
If you could squeeze in one in right side and might be up there.
Okay. I'm just background musician, but I will try.
And then if there's not enough, maybe we could share. I printed off about 20 copies. I might need one too.
So this song is about honoring Emalama, taking care of Heiau is a sacred site. And as the talk is about the body and the Atlas, taking care of the sacred site, which is our body. The sacred earth inside, but also the sacred earth outside, as it is Mother and Mother Earth. Inside, outside, our living mothers, our past mothers, and our ancestors.
Hold this land in sacredness. Earth and sky, sea and stone. Hold this land in sacredness. Dolphin whale. It's not on the paper. Oh, new snail. Hold this land in sacredness. Dolphin Emalama ikaheo. Emalama pono ikaheo. Emalama ikaheo. Emalama pono ikaheo. Emalama ikaheo. Emalama ikaheo. Emalama pono ikaheo.
Thank you so much. All right, a little bit about New Thought Center of Hawaii. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary of aloha for the nourishment, development, and evolution of each individual's unique spiritual path. A little bit about the history. This group evolved from the Kona Community Church of Religious Science, founded in 1971. We have held Sunday services continuously from that time, previously in Ke'aho and since 1919 in Kealakekua. Thanks to the pandemic of 2020 and 21, we have developed the technical capabilities to hold our services online. Hello, Cyberland. And our connection to the wider world, we're affiliated with International New Thought Alliance, an umbrella organization that brings together groups and individuals who share certain common beliefs and attitudes. Among the idea that a new thought embodied in consciousness produces a new condition. And then now is also our time for miracles and ordinaries. I invite anyone that would like to come up and share. And just a little example that I found here in the facilitator handbook that resonated is we've come to a part of our service that we call the miracles and ordinaries. Here we're asked to share with each other the spiritually meaningful events of this past week, this time of our lives, and this portion of our journey. Miracles because they're unexpected, and they seem to come from source, both within and without. They remind us of the great spiritual truths, and they change us. Ordinaries because they happen in the midst of our daily lives, and they are the stuff of our daily lives, and their lessons are always right here to serve us. So if anyone feels like they would come up and introduce themselves.
I'll start. This is Steven. See how this works. It's brand new. Oh, okay. It works. Okay. Testing. Hi, Steven. This whole day, morning is a miracle. Wow. Things got off to a really shaky start, and I really appreciate everybody's forbearance for stuff going on with the sound. And everybody stepping beyond their boundaries to a new spot. So personally, I had a couple of weeks ago, I sort of broke my leg and kind of ruined a lot of plans and do a lot of stuff. But like they say, there's everything that happens is a lesson. Trying to get, in touch with that lesson, and it's pretty obvious. It's like, well, whatever happens, I mean, go with the flow. Give up thinking it's supposed to be different. And of course, it gives me time to reflect and maybe have more compassion for me in the form of other people who also have some infirmaries going on or disabilities. And to wind it up with the good news, it's like, wow, it's really getting better already. Feels good. Maybe we should pass that mic around after all, because we're kind of finicky.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aloha, I'm Sarah. Thanks for being here. My ordinary was I was doing laundry. I walked out to the laundry to check on it, and there was a beautiful ripe mango on top of the washing machine for me.
Aww.
And then I went to work. I had a great day at work. I teach water aerobics up at the hotel. Had just the friendliest, fun group of people, like just smiling ear to ear, having a good time. And then I came home, and there's another mango and some bananas at my door. I just like, I feel really great. And then on my way here, I was on the upper windy road, and the guy was kind of going slow, and I was watching my thoughts, and I was like, relax, you're tailgating, knock it off. That's not aloha, slow down. And then I just thought, I'm getting this better. I'm getting better at this. I thought, I want an open road in front of me because I like to go a little fast on the windy road. I want open road. And next thing I know, ding, 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 it turns off, and
That's beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barca, and this isn't really a miracle. I was a little horrified. I got back from a trip, and I put my dirty sheets, in the washer with the washer open before I left. And I came back, and I did put some more things in it, and did from the trip, and did the laundry. And after I did the laundry, I'm taking things out one at a time, and just taking them out without looking really. And I grabbed something, and it was a dead rat. I dropped it, and I didn't really pick it up again with the towel, and it was dead. I guess it drowned, I assume, in the laundry.
Was it clean?
What?
Was it clean?
Yes, I think everything was very clean, and it chewed holes in my new sheets. They were new Costco sheets. I just used them twice, and I have holes in them. Anyway. Well, I didn't put them in the dryer. I hang my sheets.
One more.
My son and I have not done well for a number of years. Just he barely tolerates me. But the other night he called, and we talked for like 3.5 hours. And he just opened his whole soul up. It was so, so beautiful.
All right. I apologize. I'm going to introduce our speaker. I have to use my phone because I don't have a printer. And so I'm going to grab this from the New Thought website. I have it ready. So, and then I meant to share too, the topic is about the Atlas, and I have a god dog, and my brother, who's a chiropractor, named him Atlas for the Atlas. So when we think of the Atlas, some people might think of the mythological figure who is carrying the whole world on his shoulders. This we can actually translate to our bodies. And the Atlas, which is the highest neck vertebra, carries the whole universe of our head on its shoulders. The Atlas connects the world of our body to the world of the upper part of the body, our brain. And all the fields Genevieve moves, she's always amazed by the journeys we can make within the body. When we dare to sink into the unknown depths of our bodies, we connect with this infinite space of inner wisdom and with extraordinary sensations, says Genevieve Brunet. She will provide an introduction and a closer look at what and where the Atlas exactly is and how it moves with the craniosacral system. We will explore the different structures with which the Atlas is all connected with. Genevieve's been practicing craniosacral therapy for over 20 years. She started with rebalancing massage 26 years ago and then completed the 4-year education at the Craniosacral Therapy Academy. After moving to Hawaii 9 years ago, she became a licensed massage therapist for the state of Hawaii. Genevieve, has an ongoing help me, GERD Chief Movements group at her Healing Temple in Ocean View. Gail, where she lives with her husband, Dan, and their 2 cats. She loves the ocean, its inhabitants, and is deeply involved in hula and has a love for Hawaiian culture. She also makes silk flower hair clips, which can be ordered anytime. And actually, she has made this very beautiful table in the back with all of her lovely clips you can take a look at after service. And with that, I gave Genevieve a call and I said, you know, I'm sitting on the board of directors as a new member, and I'm looking at facilitators who to introduce. And I shared with her what drew me to her topic today. And so she asked if I would be open to sharing that with all of you. So some of you may not know, I was a doula for many years. And when I was freshly in school, I had my second part. It was three parts. And in the second part, my teacher in San Francisco was married to a craniosacral therapist. And part of our program was to spend 2 hours with him. And it's so important. It became really obvious in my career as a doula how much impact there is on mama and baby. So one of the stories that really stood out in mind was he shared that this lady was referred by a friend to come into his practice and see him. Her baby could not latch on. She did desperately wanted to nurse this baby, and every time she put the baby to breast, the baby would grimace and cry and cry and cry and scream. So after examination and the doctor asking some questions of mom, he found out that she had a pretty traumatic childbirth, and the doctor got impatient and pulled the baby's head instead of letting the baby deliver naturally. So then what happened? Not that the doctor didn't know, they don't really have a lot of education on this, but when he had reset the baby's head, he did not set the head correctly, and it was removed. So he did his craniosacral therapy work. Mom went home, she's like, okay, she tried everything and nothing worked. And she was doing dishes, cooking dinner, and all of a sudden the baby latched on. And she just had tears of joy that made her Mother's Day. So with that, I'm gonna introduce Genevieve and present her with a lay. Patty is not with us today. She's been filling in for me when I'm not here. So I went ahead and made Genevieve a lay. And this is a combination from 2 different farms, mine and a friend who provided the flowers. So I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah,
Poor Kenny.
All right, it's your turn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Jamie, for sharing that story. And the atlas is quite a magical part of our bodies. Actually, a lot of places are quite magical, but when I was preparing this presentation, there's so much to share about the atlas. And if you go away today with a little more sensation of your atlas in the body and where it is, and probably you know, but a little deeper feeling, then I'm already happy. So my task was in preparation to summarize all the information, because it was like expanding into spaciousness. Like the atlas carries our head, and our head is like the sky. It has so much connections from all kinds of structures, which I will go into. And I will end the presentation with a little exercise, so then you can go in and feel what I'm all talking about. So to start with, well, when I start tuning in, like last year I presented on Mother's Day also, and I don't know who was there, but last year's talk was about the sacrum, which is the lower end of our craniosacral system. So this year, it was already clear to me last year that I would present the atlas this year. And thank you for inviting me year after year. I was counting, this is the 6th year I'm here. So it's also for me like a little gift to each year deepen one part of the craniosacral system. So what is connected with Mother's Day, I was tuning in why Mother's Day, and actually our mother membrane, the dura mater, is the base of our craniosacral system. And I will draw it so that you have a little visual, little anatomy. I won't overload you with anatomy, but that you know it's called literally the mother membrane. And within this mother membrane sit all our nerves. And craniosacral therapy, the craniosacral system, is the breathing of our nervous system. Like it's the third respiratory system. And it's the breathing of our, so with craniosacral, we can access places which also go beyond massage therapy, in my perception. You access the nerves and the brainstem and the brain, and in that sense, it has a profound effect on our nervous system. And our nervous system is the first one to develop in an embryo. And around that, the membrane, and this membrane sits inside our skull. It lines around inside of all our vertebrae, and the atlas and other vertebrae and the sacrum, they are attached to the dura mater at some places. So to have a little visual, I will draw. And I'm not a master drawer, but I will do my best to give a little visual. No, I'm happy with the handheld mic. So the craniosacral system is basically a sac filled with fluid, the craniosacral fluid, which is like fluid light. It's highly charged and it circulates our whole spine. This is symbolically our whole spine, which the lower end is this triangle-shaped bone and the tailbone. That was the talk of last year. The upper end of our spine, which is connected at the brainstem, is the atlas. These are all nerves inside, and around this sac of fluid are all the vertebrae. So this is, picture it, your whole spine. Here, above the atlas, is a big hole into your whole brain. That's the foramen magnum, which literally means big hole. And the brainstem, and you can feel it, like if you touch your skull and you go to the lower end of your skull, below there's like a soft spot. That's where the whole fight-flight system sits. That's where the brainstem sits, and the brainstem goes down into C2. The atlas is C1, it's the highest vertebra. The brainstem goes down into C2, and that's the axis, that's the second vertebra. So this is a very important part of our brain. And here you have the whole brain, and this is the face attached, like your jaw and all kinds of other bones. But this soft part is where we can access our fight-flight system. Our brainstem regulates the blood pressure, the blood flow, the circulation, the sleep. It is a very crucial part. And in that sense, the atlas, the highest vertebra, is so highly, I would say, it is the strongest vertebra, because if you picture atlas, it is very strong, but it is also a vulnerable vertebra because it's so closely to the brainstem, and it's the most movable vertebra. All the other vertebrae, they sit kind of in place and they can get stuck. But the atlas, if you rotate your head from right to left, that's the joint between the C1 and C2, and the joint between the atlas and the occiput, which is the skull down below, makes you nod. And the atlas rotates on the C2, on the axis. So if, for example, your head is restricted in going to the right, then the joint between C1 and C2 might be a little stuck or a little blocked. If the upper joint is blocked, it will give you an intense headache. So you won't be restricted. You might feel it when you're not, but you get headaches also when the other joint is blocked. So that's how you notice whether your atlas is not completely free moving. So it's a very precious vertebra because also the dura mater, this whole mother membrane, is attached here at C1, C2. It's attached at T3, T4. That's the back of our heart. So if you feel tension at the back of your heart, that's also what pulls on the dura mater. It's attached on the L5, L4. That's the lower lumbar vertebra, lower back pain. And it's attached at the whole sacral area. So if something is like stuck with the atlas, you might have lower back pain. You might feel it pulling all the way down. And I find it so fascinating that, of course, our body is all connected and there's all a spider web of fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue all around. So what happens, for example, when I see clients and when the atlas is a little tight on the left side, then usually it goes diagonal, then the right hip might be a little stuck. Or the shoulders. It pulls on different parts of the body, so you cannot isolate it. And that's what is fascinating. And then it goes into the brain, which is connected to some glands here, which I will share shortly about it. But it's such an ingenious system of a whole spider web of connective tissue, and literally with the membrane, if the atlas is stuck, I don't know if you have had that you feel like restriction. You can have it stuck when you have, for example, a car accident, or when you sit behind a computer and have your head in a weird position all the time, or when you have slept awkwardly. The atlas is so movable, but the atlas can also fall into its natural place. So it's not that it completely pops out unless you have a severe accident, and then you wouldn't be alive, because the atlas, this whole brainstem, controls basically the rest of your body. If it is misaligned or a little stuck, like you can have headaches, you can have back pain, you can have digestive issues. It controls your diaphragm and your stomach. You can feel dizzy, you can have tinnitus. And it had a lot of spiritual connection. Dan and I, we were in Japan and in November, and we were walking through the woods. And then all of a sudden, we looked to the left and we saw this whole row of Buddhas, stone Buddhas covered with moss, just in the natural environment of the forest. And we both felt like something started buzzing up below at our atlas. And our whole head was like lightheaded and dizzy. And I literally, if you're connected with your atlas, you feel the movement. There's like a pulsation. The atlas reacts on the vibration and on the vibration of sound. So you can feel a pulsation. I also feel that when I work with clients and the atlas releases, I feel the pulsation. And there's literally also the movement of the fluid, which you can feel up here under your occiput and the atlas. But it reacts strongly on vibration. I felt that when I came into Hawaii, I was traveling before I moved to Hawaii. And I was walking, I was 3 months here because I wanted to swim with dolphins, which was possible 10 years ago. And I wanted to meet a whale, and I wanted to learn hula. That were my 3 wishes. And then I went to Kauai, and I was in this Waimea Canyon, in the middle of the canyon. And all of a sudden, I sat down, I meditated, and I had my atlas pulsating like crazy. So there was some powerful energy there, and it just reacts on our bodies. So pay attention when you're somewhere and you feel this pulsation in your atlas, and it is connected with pineal gland also, and the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. So that are 3 glands, which are also, and that's a fascinating part of our body, they are all connected. There's a bone here. It's called the sphenoid bone, and it comes to your temples, and it attaches to the base of your skull. And your pituitary gland sits in the saddle of the sphenoid. So, and the occiput, as we saw, there's the atlas, and between the atlas and the occiput, it can get really jammed and really tight. So that's what I work in with craniosacral, with making space between the atlas and the occiput. So the occiput is the lower part of your skull. That's like this whole lower bone here. So if you make space between the atlas and the occiput, then the brain can get its full blood flow, its full oxygen. So the atlas has a profound impact on our brain. And then the sphenoid is attached to the lower base of our skull. So if the atlas gets tight and the occiput gets tight, then our sphenoid gets tight, then our pituitary gland functions not optimally. And the pituitary gland signals to the pineal gland and the hypothalamus. So it's like this whole fascinating network of our brain having to do the right thing. And when our brain does the right thing, then our body can heal itself. It's the glands, those 3 glands, control basically all the basic strategies of our body. It controls eating, it controls breathing, it controls our immune system, it controls our blood flow, it controls our digestion. All the basic function of our body, we don't have to do anything for it. And when everything functions optimally, then it just works. So in preparing this presentation, I was meditating on my atlas. Like also stress has an impact on our atlas because the atlas is embedded in muscles. Like there's muscles from the front of the atlas is like, let me draw it for you. It's like a ring-shaped vertebra. It has no like real body like all the other vertebrae. And it sits on the axis here, and the brainstem comes in the, and there's muscles here, there's muscles on the back. So our neck, there's muscles from the occiput to the atlas. So if we relax our muscles, then the atlas can slide into the natural place. So what I noticed in meditating, I meditated the whole, like usually when I prepare presentation, I tune in, I meditate and see what information comes naturally. And then I also start reading more in the information I've learned back long ago. And because I did the whole education in Holland, which was 2003 till 2007, and I'm practicing. So I also always like to reread. But tuning in, my atlas really started relaxing and I felt space coming and I felt my neck muscles relaxing. So if we have stress for some reason, it also tightens our neck and that tightens our back and that tightens our whole system. So we really have to take care of this sacred place inside. Like that's the reminder for me again and again, please let's take care of our sacred earth within because it's so precious and our body can heal itself if we give it the space to function properly. And this fluid light which circles, like it circles all around, and that's the bones move. I don't know if you knew that from the craniosacral. I told it last time, I told it other times, but the sacrum has a movement down and the occiput up, and then they come back together. And there's also an expanding, like the whole body folds open and comes inward. And that's actually, you can feel it like a wave, and it goes very slow. The slowest rhythm, the breath of life, goes like 4 till 6 times per minute. So it's nothing like our heart rate or our breathing. It falls slowly open, and then it folds slowly back. And you also have some faster rhythms when there's some disorder. Yeah, so if we take care, what I wanted to say with it, if we take care of our system, then our bones can move. And then we have, I heard it saying in the introduction, I feel alive. I have just had a massage. I feel the the energy flowing. Like then we can feel the kundalini. We can feel the kundalini and the aliveness if everything is moving. Because this is our pump. This is our inner pump, which pumps this fluid around. And we want to have it expanding and folding back. And having this wave, that's why I also said it's a sack of fluid. It's like a wave of the ocean. And we can have this inner sensation. So of course you can feel it as a practitioner, you can feel it on people, like I feel it, for example, at the ankles or at the shins or at the occiput. I can feel the body folding open, but you can also feel it inwardly. So when I do the exercise, I will guide you a moment to see if you can feel it inwardly. Yeah, I'm looking, what do I want to say more? Well, the connection, this is our spiritual connection about the pineal gland. So the pituitary gland, which I said sits in our sphenoid, which is attached to our occiput. You can like feel it coming out to your temples. So if you, for example, you hit your head, there's so many head bones, like you have your frontal and you have your sphenoid, and it can get all stuck. And then we can get neck pain, for example. But you feel it here, but you can envision it inside your brain. There are 3 points. And maybe you can feel it where I go as a practitioner, where I can access, like if you put one finger on your nasal bone and one finger above it, and the third finger above that, that's where you make your fingers really soft, because that's how the craniosacral touch is. You make your hands like on melting butter. You make them really soft. And then from there, you can access in the order, first pituitary gland, then above that, the hypothalamus, which sits above and behind the pituitary. And then third one, the pineal gland, which sits in the center of our brain. So picture it from above to the center of our brain. And what is interesting, the pineal gland reacts on darkness. And maybe you know that already, but it showed me again how important darkness is, because the darkness makes the pineal gland secrete melatonin. And melatonin makes us sleep, connects the body with the mind, controls the whole sleep-wake rhythm. And I actually didn't know that, but I knew that intuitively, like when light shines on anywhere on your body, the pineal gland reacts it. So it's not only through our eyes, anywhere on our body there's photosensitive receptors which pick up light. So darkness really enhances our spiritual practice, because it secretes this hormone which helps us connect body and mind, which helps us go into deeper stages of sleep, into deeper places of meditation. And they are also very sensitive to sound, and to vibration. So when I came in, that was beautiful. Jamie gave me a hug, and we automatically started toning, like making sound. And I immediately felt the reaction to my head, like this light. I don't know if you felt anything, but this light-headed dizziness. And that's basically, I don't know what other structures do that, but the pineal gland reacts on sound and vibrations, and also the toning, the connection with your heart. Like if there's love and compassion field, then the pineal gland starts vibrating with it. It reacts on magnetic fields. So there's this whole chain. And going back to the atlas, it's anatomically connected, because it's connected with the brainstem, connected with the occiput, connected with the sphenoid, where the pituitary gland sits. And this signals, and this signals. So we have this wonderful apparatus in ourselves. And if we tone into it, if we tune into it, if we tone into our heart, we keep our body a well-oiled machine. And that's for me the precious reminder, the Mother Earth within. So with that being said, I just will guide everybody in a meditation, and that you can feel it more from inside. And yeah, maybe first see if there are any questions on the theory, on what I told, and after that I guide you in the visualization. Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm not into chiropractic, but years ago I had a Atlas alignment myself, and there they used like this. They don't move your atlas like crazy, but they use like a pinching apparatus where they relax the neck muscles, and then the atlas. That's basically what I shared, that when the neck muscles relax, and especially the upper neck muscles, the atlas can sink in its natural place. So with cranial, I work more subtly, but basically I also work on the neck muscles between the atlas and the occiput. And I cannot push the bone, but I can make space between the atlas and the occiput. And then basically the atlas sinks in its natural place. When it's really out of alignment due to an accident or whiplash, for example, is a very strong one. Sometimes I had people who I could not even touch this space between the atlas and the occiput. So that's the space where I said like feel below your skull. And if you feel the soft part, that's where the skull ends. And shortly after that, the atlas starts. But you need to relax your muscles to be able to, for my fingers to sink into that space. So I myself am really like, it's such a precious, subtle space. So it's a vulnerable vertebra. And you want to be gentle and soft. That's my vision with the atlas. And sometimes it's really difficult. I have had people where it was really out of alignment, and then it's really difficult. You need to work longer for the atlas to be able to sink back. But it happened. I have stories from people who had like scoliosis also due to a misaligned atlas. And when the atlas sank back, then everything was happy. The whole body and spine was happy. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay. Other questions? Nice that you come all the way from Ocean View.
Aloha. Genevieve and Dan know very well that I fell and broke my right wrist. And when I fell, it jammed the whole arm and shoulder up into this area. And I've been thinking about Genevieve a lot because she's worked on me before. And I know how precious craniosacral is because I have had the training and I do it, some of it in my work. And the first couple months of this healing, I couldn't even touch my own self. I was that sensitive. I mean, I could touch myself, but it had to be very gentle, like she's saying. And so I have such a deep or profound appreciation of this work. My own practice is going to take on being way more gentle with, especially if someone's injured, you know, and we learn from our own injuries so much. I had to really practice the cranial sacral type healing and Reiki, the energy work, more, especially at the beginning, because I was just so sensitive and pain, you know, there was different pains and everything's connected. So when I try to lift my shoulder or, you know, lift up the arm, it hurt in the shoulder, right? Not just the wrist where the injury is. And so with this, I was trying to think, yeah, the liquid, because I do a lot of water work with people. I do water massage too. And I'm thinking, basically, it's really helping the fluids move, right? In the cranial system. Like that was coming to me.
Yeah, let me say thank you for your question. Yeah, I actually was going to say something about waterwork, so thank you for your reminder, because who said she works? You, with aerobics. And then it came to mind, there's also a whole specialty of cranial in water, and in water we are weightless and we can flow, and when people lay in the water, you can have your hand under the whole spine, and you can easily flow with the movement of the water, and it just resonates with the inner movement of the fluid. So my experience was, actually years ago, I was actually teaching cranial in water in the warm ponds before it got taken over by the volcano. And yeah, and it really does a profound relaxation in the whole system because of the outer water and the inner water. It starts vibrating in synchronicity. Yeah. Thank you. Other questions? I hope I don't use too many technical terms, but it's like what my experience is, if we know where the places are located, and even if we know the names, like I noticed it with the introduction, if we speak to our bodies start showing up more. That connection, like after you all introduced yourself, my connection was really reacting to all your connections. And it's just that when we know where things are located, we can speak more directly to our bodies. So that's why I find it important to give a little anatomy, that we really know, oh yeah, and then from here, and here's the sphenoid bone, and then there are the glands who steer our whole system. How fascinating is that? For me as a body worker, it's very fascinating. And then when you pull on one end of your body, the other end of the body gets tight. Like when here the fascia, the connective tissue is tight, it gets tight here. And how come that it reacts diagonally so many times? Like people say, for example, I have pain in my right shoulder, and then when I go to the left shoulder, it's more tight than the right. But the left shoulder is compensating and trying to protect the right. So your body has this whole inner conversation by itself. And what is actually interesting, the hypothalamus, like this whole system is unconscious. So even if you don't feel that connection, it's still working. And I look to you because you shared, oh, it was like an unawareness. But then there's the thalamus, which is above that, and that brings everything into awareness. So I recorded this CD with all kinds of craniosacral meditations. That was my end work for my education a long time ago, just for myself to learn the anatomy in a deeper place, because it's so hard to get all the physical structures. And then for the massage therapy exam, I had to know which nerve innervates which muscle, and every single nerve which innervates which muscle. It's almost a mission impossible, but it's interesting. If you think about it, it's a very complex, the most complex machine you can think of. Yes.
I think it's worth asking. Are you aware of any studies of a possible connection between autism and what you're talking about?
Well, it's a very good question, because there was, I cannot pinpoint studies, but I can way back, like when I did my internship in 2006, one of my classmates was setting up a craniosacral center for craniosacral and autistic children. And I did my internship actually in working in water. There was a swimming pool, especially for people with Parkinson, autistic children, and yeah, mainly people with Parkinson and autistic children. So adults and children. And I worked there for 9 months, and I worked a lot with autistic children and cranial. And it was really working also with people with Parkinson, like their trembling would stop. in a session. And then after the session, it would start again, and I wouldn't follow them through because the center was in Belgium and I was working in Holland, or living in Holland and working in Belgium. But I saw them every time in the water, and every time in the water it would stop, and the autistic children would let me come close after a whole steps off. But you work in a very gentle way. And when I prepared the presentation, I read a whole studies about ADHD and ADD and autism. Like if the atlas is misaligned, it doesn't allow the full blood flow and full oxygen to the brain. And then in that study, it was said all kinds of brain concentration things can occur. But it's not my study. I just dived deeper into the literature and read that. So that's my experience from that site. Does that answer your question? Well, also with the, like, for example, with Cranio, there's the corpus callosum, which is in the mid of our brain, and that's the connective center, that's the communication between left and right brain. And with Cranio, you work with the brain and you work with having better communication. So for example, dyslexia, it all improves with working with the brain. And it also, in my perspective, with Gurdjieff movements, you get better communication between left and right brain. And it helps to center in a different way. So it has, in my perception, a profound impact on the brain. So with that being said, because otherwise we don't have time for the exercise, I will guide you into a visualization. And other questions can come after the presentation. So what I first want to invite is everybody stand up. And after standing up, we will sit down again, but just stand up and close your eyes for a minute. And then feeling the feet on the ground. Connecting a moment with our breath, just as it goes. So the normal breathing in our whole system. And then feeling our sacrum, which is the big triangle bone at the seat of our spine. And having the sacrum and the lower end is the tailbone, having that root into the earth. So maybe the pelvis is tilting a little bit backwards so that the tailbone will point into the earth. So feeling the connection with the earth from your feet and your tailbone and your sacrum, the lower end of your spine. And then from there, going up all the vertebrae. So going up your lower back, your lumbar vertebrae, and then the mid back, where the thoracic vertebrae start, where also your diaphragm is, just below your rib cage. And then going up your mid back, between your shoulder blades and the back of your heart, and on a little bit on the left. And then up to your neck. So the lower part of your neck is where that big, maybe you can feel it on the back, like there's a big outstanding vertebrae. That's the lower part of your cervical vertebrae. Your neck starts there, and then going up your neck till the atlas and the axis, which sit just below your skull. And then from the atlas connecting with the sky, with your head and the sky. So feel a moment the atlas and the sacrum, and with doing that you can sit down again, and we go deeper into the meditation. You can stay standing, but for your comfort you can also stay standing down. And then feel the sacrum while sitting, keeping your eyes closed. And then feel the atlas, which is carrying your head. The atlas is this very strong vertebrae. It's very strong. It's the most movable, but it's a very strong vertebrae which carries the whole weight of your head. So the atlas is the vertebrae just below your skull. And see how this connection feels now from the lower end of your spine, which is your sacrum, to the upper end of your spine, which is your atlas. Feel a moment this connection. Maybe you feel tingling, maybe you feel spaciousness, maybe you feel compression, maybe you feel tightness. Whatever you feel is okay. Just sense a moment what you sense there. And then also connect it down into the earth and up to the sky. And then just above your atlas is this hole, this big hole where your nerves go into your skull and your brain. So go inside, higher above, into your brain, into your skull. And then attach to the lower part of your skull, you have the sphenoid, which is a bone inside your brain, and it ends at your temples. So sense a moment how your temples feel. Is there any pressure? Is there any tenderness? Or does it feel spacious and open and moving? And then we also have the trio of the three glands. Like there in the middle of this bone sits the pituitary gland, above and behind the hypothalamus, and in the center of your brain, the pineal gland. So see a moment if you can connect with the center of your brain, which is bathed in craniosacral fluid, which is fluid light. It's like a center of light, which lights up your whole brain, and it controls the whole rest of your body. So see if you can still feel the rest of your body while being connected to this light center inside of your brain. And just sense how it feels. Like how do your brain feel? Does it feel clear or foggy or lightness or dizzy? How does your neck, your atlas, lower part of your skull feel? Does it feel jammed? Does it feel open? Do you feel spaciousness? And can you feel the connection all down your spine to your sacrum, where your whole system folds open like as a wave, the craniosacral rhythm. Your craniosacral system folds open and comes back. There's this rhythm in your whole body which moves the sacrum, it moves the occiput, the skull. It bathes the three glands, the pineal, hypothalamus, and pituitary. And it circulates this fluid light all around our bodies to make us expand into consciousness, wanting to grow, and still stay connected to the earth as the channel that we are. And at home you can sit in this as long as you want, but for now we can, with this little exercise, can thank all the body parts that showed up. So thanking our sacrum, thanking our spine, our atlas, our occiput, which is our skull, lower part of our skull, our brain and the three glands, which do so beautifully their work and help us breathe, help us digest, help our immunity system, help the blood circulation, help our body temperature, help us sleep. So we thank those three precious glands inside our brain. And whenever you have space at home, maybe you can take a moment to go inside and connect with these precious places and take care of your Mother Earth within. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly, slowly count back from 3 to 1, where you expand your awareness in this room and the chairs where you're sitting on and the other people. We're still staying connected with your whole spine, brain, skull, glands, every single part of your precious body.
I hope that, yeah, it's still on. What a lovely presentation. Thank you so much for shedding your wisdom and your guidance. And immediately after you were guiding us through, I have an old injury, a fractured L3, L4. And the only thing that seems to help is regular craniosacral therapy care and also chiropractic. And if I don't do that, then I'm up going to the bathroom because that's the part that controls our kidney and our bladder. And so I'm excited to take this home and practice this meditation. And the other thing that came to mind was when you were talking about your Buddhas. I went out with a special person about 3 weeks ago. We were driving down south, and I've been hearing about this temple. And he was sharing with me, I always stop on my way to the other east side of the island and do meditation. And so it was my first time there. And immediately upon coming up the stairs and walking into the temple, I got the ringing in the ears and my atlas was just buzzing. And then I set my intention and then lit an incense. I didn't have enough time to stay and do meditation, but the land is so sacred. And if we really tune in with ourselves, we can really feel that all of these islands are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so let your atlas guide you in wherever you step.
Yeah.
And guide your way home.
Yes. Okay. Now's the time for another song and a passing of the koa bowl. So whatever speaks to you as a donation gift for New Thought, I'm going to go ahead and get that started.
I heard there was a sacred chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composed, hallelujah, 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 Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair, she broke your throat, she cut your hair, from your lips she drew hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe I've been here before, I've known this room, I've walked this floor, I used to live alone, oh, I knew you. I've seen your flag on the marble arch, love is not a victory march, it's cold and it's broken, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. There was a time when you let me know what's real and going on below, but now you never show that to me, do you? Remember when I moved in you, the and every breath we drew was hallelujah, 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 Maybe there's a God above, and all I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. It's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not someone who's seen the light, it's cold and it's broken, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
Thank you so much for your generous donations. And now is the time for announcements. And I'm going to start with Genevieve. If anything that you would like to share with all of us, any classes coming up or something about your.
I am trying to start the class up about basic craniosacral before I leave the end of July. So if you're interested in learning some of the basics of craniosacral, sign up on my email list down there. So basic craniosacral module, which is 4 days, spread over a certain amount of time. But if I don't manage to start it up before I leave, I will do part of it when I come back. I'm gone for 3 months to Europe. And I have Gurdjieff movements every Monday we changed it to Tuesday. Every Tuesday 4 till 6. Craniosacral sessions. I can come here or to my healing temple in Ocean View. And after the service, beautiful flowers and pyramids for Mother's Day or yourself or any gift. And then makes the pyramids, high vibrational pyramids. And I make the flowers to uplift the beauty in every one of you and keep the vibration uplifted.
Thank you. And we're also New Thought's going to take Genevieve out to lunch. So if you'd like to come and join us, you have more questions, Captain Cook Farmers Market. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to do a show of hands or anything because there's no reservations. But if you'd like to come join us, we'd really appreciate that. So other events that are coming up at the New Thought Center of Hawaii for the next 3 Sundays on June 2nd, we have Kelly Cares, Stand on Your Story, a Heart Healing Transformative Journey. And then on the 19th, Jean-Pierre Thoma, Program and Music, Chakra Balancing with Tones and Colors. And then the 26th, we have Marie Rose Von Lee with Program and Music, Change Your State, Change Your Fate, a New Thought Experiment. And here at the center, we have weekly classes on Mondays, 4:30 to 5:30, Jin and Wong with the Tai Chi, Qigong, all levels. It's $15 per class, or he has a monthly rate for $48 you pay on the first Monday of the month. Thursdays from 5 to 6:30, starting on the 16th, we have a study group, A Course in Miracles, no charge, optional donation to New Thought Center of Hawaii, and I think Stephen's gonna get us started on that. We also have monthly events. We have a produce giveaway for Sunday. Today, May 5th, right after service. I think this is an old thing because we've passed May 5th. But there is produce. I did see some on the back table. You can help yourself. And then every second Sunday, we have a crystal bowl meditation, which I did today. It was very beautiful. And that's at 9 to 9:30 in the Hanoa room. It's a free event, optional donation to New Thought Center. And then one of my favorite parts is the end of month potluck. It's the last Sunday. And then the next one, I believe this has got a lot of May dates. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's May 26th. So at the end of May. And then we also have an invitation. You're invited to submit prayer requests. We have a a New Thought prayer ministry that just got started, and I believe I forgot to bring it out. It's in the other room. I can put it out on the table. And if you're interested for the mailing list, you can sign our guest book to get a weekly e-newsletter, or sign up via the website, www.newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. And with that, I think we're ready we're a little early, but a closing song for Aloha. Yeah, yeah.
Join hands, please. Hey Hawaii, e kuone hanawe. Kuhome, kula iwine. Falling no ahuina pono lanio. Hey Hawaii, aloha.
Mahalo.